Thank you, Pillai sir. Good evening, everybody. We come directly to our transmission or distribution system. In traditional system, what Mr. Sam Pitoda has told, it is old architecture. It is just unidirectional from generation to transmission, then to distribution and consumers. But in smart grid, it is basically bidirectional. Energy storage systems are there, rooftop solars are there, small solar power plants are there, wind power system are there, which are connected to different voltage levels. That makes system more complex because in such a system, control will be a problem. It is not easy. Suppose the wind power is high and suddenly wind goes to down level. Then what will happen? So we have to make up that power from conventional resources. That's why control and monitoring of this smart grid is very important. If we see smart grid, it is basically a confluence of three core sectors: communication, IT, and power. There are so many sensors and devices that are installed at consumer level, at distribution level. Data of all the devices and meters will be required at control center for proper monitoring. If we simple take smart meters, it can send metering data and voltage and current informations in 15 minutes block. From a single meter, so many informations will be available per day. What will happen when all the meters and all the devices will communicate? For their communication of data, communication infrastructure is required, whether it is RF or optical fiber or any other source, GPRS. Then what will happen after collecting these data at control center? We are having a lot of data. As Mr. Satyajit was saying, some analytics is required to analyze that data and come to decision making. That's why IT sector is required. Now, we are having three sectors combined. This is a challenge. Because they are three different sectors, they don't know each other's. In power sector, they don't know about IT and communication, and similar for others. Then bringing them to one platform will be a challenge. And over that, bringing economy in the operation will be another challenge. Because our power sector is very cost sensitive. We can't increase cost to the consumer, and we can realize cost through consumers only. There is no such mechanism where money comes in between. We have to collect it from consumers only. So how will you keep the cost at minimum level and will have complete smart grid? I'll give an example for you. For one project, we purchased a server with 8 processors and divided it to 4 virtualized machines for bringing economy, so that many applications can be run in different environment. For one of the application, one database was required. We went to a software company and we requested for database cost for 2 processors only. They told that in virtual environment, our software does not recognize. You have to purchase for 8 processors only. For 8 processor, cost was huge. It's 2 crore. Then complete economy was gone, which we have achieved in purchase of server. So that is the case when three different sectors come, we should economize properly and we should integrate all the sectors with thorough supervision. These are the difference. Already all are aware of these things, after so much of discussion, what smart grid have with comparison to old grid, I'll not repeat it. If anybody has any question, I can answer it. In transmission, there are very much, so many problems are there due to large renewable integration, large system. Earlier there were several regional grids, now it is a national grid. We are going to integrate southern system also in our grid. Then presently there is steady state monitoring through SCADA system. Now we need dynamic state of the system. We are going for installation of phasor measurement units, which will collect data in 25 to 40 milliseconds, and all data will be collected at control centers, and it will be analyzed through smart analytics, and decision making will be possible. Dynamic response of the system can be seen. Oscillations, if oscillations are existing in the system, that we can see. If frequency destabilization or voltage destabilization are occurring, we can see. If phasor angle difference is there and instability in the grid is increasing, we can monitor. If any line is having some power flow, we can monitor how much reserve we can more flow in that line. These are the benefits of synchrophasor technologies. We can monitor grid stress, grid robustness, oscillations, frequency instability, voltage stability, angular stability, and margins. All the 400 kV substations, Power Grid is taking that job, and all the 400 kV substations, whether it is in state domain or center domain or IPP, will have PMUs. All the 220 kV and above generating stations, and all the HVDC terminals and important interregional and international tie lines. At each SLDC, master PDC will be there. Then that data will be collected to RLDC, and then national grid, national control, load dispatch center. When we come to smart distribution, there are many attributes which are defined. Advanced metering infrastructure, smart meters, then communication systems, then meter data acquisition systems, then meter data management systems, which analyze all the collected data. Billing application is integrated. Even if you can have outage data of one consumer, because you are having voltage of each, you are connected to each consumer. If any consumer goes out of service, suddenly loss of power alarm will be generated, and you will be knowing in control room that that consumer is out of power. Then SCADA, DMS, outage management systems, GIS mapping, complete GIS mapping, just like Google Map, will be there on your screen. Various consumers will be laid on that. Then various assets are mapped. Then if any line outages is there, you can know how many consumers are affected, how many consumers can be restored automatically. Then they will be restored through self-healing process, or if it is a manual, then you can change switch positions and you can restore consumers so that outage will be reduced, outage duration will be reduced, and reliability will be increased. Then peak load management, already demand response and demand side management has been discussed. So we can have peak load management through these two processes. We can have time of use pricing. Accordingly, we can have demand response, and even industry can be contacted for demand response, and they can be offered low prices also for the continuous power, and during demand response time, their non-critical load may be switched off. Then power quality management, harmonic filters, voltage suppressors, or automatic power factor controllers will be installed. you are having voltage of each consumer. So presently there is no system for knowing voltage at the end consumer, but now you can, through smart meter, you can have voltage of each consumer. Then energy storage may be integrated into system. Presently these technologies are costly and are in pilot stages. Then integration of renewable energy sources through large scale solar wind farms or through rooftop solar, we can integrate these systems into smart grid. Microgrids, self-sustained grid, only when these grids require for the very smaller time of power, they can take it from grid, otherwise they are self-sustained in their uses. Then electric vehicles, new developing area. Electric vehicles are basically storage devices. You can store in electric vehicles, and whenever power is needed, you can take it from electric vehicles. So this is like storage devices. 14 pilot projects have been approved by ISGTF. These are in different parts of country which are going to be executed. These are the roadmaps. Already Mr. Pillai have told very ambitious roadmap, and a lot of effort will be required to achieve this. At Pondicherry, Pondicherry is one of the 14 pilot projects. At Pondicherry, through collaborative efforts, we have already started some execution, and already 50 organizations have joined PowerGrid in collaborative measure, and we have installed some meters, and we are monitoring these at control center. Some other devices have also been installed. Purpose of the pilot project was indigenization of technology, knowledge sharing and capacity building, proof of concept in Indian conditions, develop a scalable and replicable model, a demonstration of benefits to stakeholders, and policy, advocacy, regulation standards, and a commercial mechanism. Some policy and regulatory supports are required for smart grid. Few of them are first is the condition of the distribution sector is very in bad shape. So there should be a scheme for smart grid from center government side, like RAP, DRP and RGGY, so that these projects can be executed. Otherwise, boot model can also be set. If some improvement in the system is there, then revenue obtained from that improvement can be shared in with private party, and boot model can be there. Then time of use tariff, presently in some states for industrial users it is there, but for domestic users also after installation of smart meters this can be done. But for pilot project area, some regulations should be there so that this can be implemented in pilot project area, because if it is not implemented in that area, how can you evolve the benefits? What are the benefits of demand response until unless you are having that scheme at pilot area? Then net metering is also not there. Nobody can sell power from their rooftop solar. So net metering should be there, then only this will happen. For electric vehicle infrastructure also some basic things are required. Standards are required. You can't fill power in your electric vehicle just like petrol. You have to have some standard sockets for connecting it to charging stations. For battery swapping stations, you need standardization on battery side. So that's why we have to think for that battery swapping and charging infrastructure, so that standardization will come by 2020 when this electricity mobility is planned, electric vehicle mobility is planned. And some business model for smart grid projects. This is my last slide. Some business model for smart grid project, so that same communication infrastructure can be given to the municipal authorities or on rental basis, or we can generate some more resources from other utilities. And then encouragement for energy efficiency. Thank you.